There they are. Welcome to What's Left with Alexander Mazeroth. What's left? One final masterful tarot card. And then we go into the future together. Moonlight. So, what do we got here? For all zodiac signs, for everybody. Final reading. With recent developments and what's been taking place here on planet Earth, what I noticed was certain things with the old way of being, certain things with spells that have been coming through to your brother for a very long time. Over 15 years, over 17 years. Words, spells, and etymologies that have certain ramifications when spoken aloud, when thought within the mind. So the direct correlation to Moonlight here, with what I'm speaking of, is this birthday of mine, August 22nd. Hi, Alexander. 43. Just saying. He's figured something out.
He's a vampire. King of the vampires. He works for Shiva.
Okay, anyways, back to the task at hand. The explanation of the moon. Okay, so normally August 22nd is full degrees Leo, the Corleonis, the heart of the lion, the crown of Regulus. Some weight that was maybe easier for a Leo to carry than another sign, but definitely was something that made me want to implode from the weight of that crown that is represented in the stars as one of the fixed stars, Regulus. So, from finding these frequencies, from becoming aligned with these frequencies, and integrating the archetypal functionalities that are attached to these frequencies, I started a journey, a very long journey, that seems to have, not that it's ending here, but yes, there are some endings taking place as you're watching. This connection with Mary, and this whole beginning and ending thing, what I'm speaking about is she was the first vision I ever had with my big, beautiful open third eye, was the Virgin Mary down a long, dark hallway in the right side of my peripheral vision. I could see her made out of light, and I stared, and I didn't move my eyes, and I stared, and then I looked, and she was there for a moment and vanished. That was my first vision in physicality, not seeing spirits on photos since childhood. So Mary's connection to the moon and who Mary's representing, okay, which is much older than the planetary beings here on this planet. According to Alexander's sources, ancient astronaut theorists believe that the Virgin Mary has once existed in the Sirius constellation with blue skin. Krishna might have been there. Jesus was definitely there. There were dolphins, there were whales, and things were great. The sun was blue, and that sounds awesome. That sounds pretty awesome, right? So she told me her name is the Syrian Miriam. I found a Mary that existed far before this Mary. Not that this Mary does not exist exactly how she is. This is something that I discovered through my own soul's ascension. Not realizing that 822 is not only this Corleonis star, it is also known as the queenship of Mary. Okay? So I see this whole queenship of Mary thing. I see more unarguable validations. My initials being AM and how I signed them my entire life. I would get yelled at in elementary school, and they'd be like, "You're not a doctor, write your name," because I would go a point, and then I would cross the A and circle it. That was how I signed everything in AI is like, whatever, I don't care. Anyways, that being the Allspice Maria, this A and the M with the circle around it is the Allspice Maria, which means under the protection of the Virgin Mary and under the protection of birds. So with this whole thing with the birds, there's that connection, like all these connections that just keep going back to our ancient souls lineage from Vega, from Lyra, from Sirius, from all these things, whether or not any of this has existed, with my belief structure being in alignment that these are at least archetypal functionalities of myself. And therefore, these are ways that my logical brain can figure out what I'm looking at and how God is communicating with me in this present moment. And that process is under constant flux. Under constant flux. That is what I've watched and observed my entire time being awake. If I figured out something that helped me to go lucid, and it worked that one time in dream time, the next time I attempted to do it, I had to up the ante. It was always this constant pressure to evolve. And while on this process, getting back to the moon, my birthday being on 8/22, and 8/22 also being the queenship of the Virgin Mary, and 8/22 also being the heart of the lion, and 8/22 also being the crown of Regulus, all of this pressure existed, and I couldn't see it until I could handle it. So I could handle the weight of that crown. And that was perfectly, synchronistically validated through this entire process with what's known as the Wheel of all the stars. This cycle of, call it the Milky Way, call it whatever it is, this big band that we exist in, and how that has certain effects on all of our bodies. So, can I lower this from here? That is too much. I'm ripping here. Can you? There you go. Nick. Anyways, the Mazeroth. When this word Mazeroth came to me, it was one of the first things I ever heard in a meditation. It's written right there on that page of that book, and that book existed before my actual spiritual journal. This was the book that led to me having this metaphysical diary of sorts. That's how long ago that name came through. When I heard it, it scared the crap out of me. Roth sounded like wrath. Roth sounded like a certain family that we don't like to speak of aloud. It sounded like a lot of things. To me, it was scary sounding. And I, of course, Googled it. It was about probably like 2009, 2010. And I was like, what is the definition of this? And it said, quote unquote, the history of this word has been lost. Some believe it has something to do with the stars. As time went by, more and more stuff got added. In this recent year, things got added that absolutely blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. And the reason why it blew my mind was because if you go and Google it now, it says that the first day of Virgo is the beginning of the wheel. So I'm not trying to threat anybody's astrological views. I'm letting you know that there is a way that certain alchemists look at the stars, and these old school alchemists, their wheel starts with Virgo, the virgin, this virgin birth, on the first second of Virgo. This is what it says on Google right now when you Google these words. Like, what does Mazeroth mean, or what is the definition of Mazeroth? You'll find this thing about Virgo. Why is that fascinating to me? Okay, so now let's line up with what actually just happened. My birthday, 8/22, is on the last 11 hours of Leo. Okay? This year, 822 was not in Leo. It was in Virgo. It was in Virgo. Just because of the wobble of everything, or because this whole leap year thing, this extra day that gets lost. Who knows what the real reasoning is? But the stars and everything's wobbling and moving around. And this year, 822 was not my zodiac sign. It was Virgo. So this was basically representing this birth and this death of the old me, and certain things that were taking place. To add even more just mathematical improbability and miracles, the new moon, first of a black moon, which is the opposite of a blue moon. It means we're going to have 2 new moons in Virgo. The first new moon being on my birthday at 11:11 p.m. Sedona time. It's hard for me to even say that without laughing. I'd like to bring everybody back to the divine paradox in the Kabbalion and just remind you that what the divine paradox is if we look at it like it's a dream, if we look at it like it's an illusion, it will become said thing. So with all the old masks and all the old ways of being, this is what you're observing within people's processes. This is happening for many, many people right now, this similar process. There's no label for it. There's no label for it. This whole new moon, dark moon, at basically 0 degrees, dark degrees, not saying people born early in Virgo are dark. I'm saying that there's a connection at that point, at the very first second of Virgo, there's a connection to some very, 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 very ancient energies that some consider mom, or the feminine god. So, back to your card of the rest of this existence for me. Okay. So black moon, first Virgo, new moon in Virgo. The second one's going to be at the end of the month, I think on the 21st. But that's what a black moon is, just to get back on schedule here. This represents a new birth. Once again, this represents the womb. This represents creation. And all of these things and all of these alignments aligning so perfectly, so perfectly, not mathematically sound, but I guess improbable would be the best word. I started to realize through my activations and what had gotten to that point, which was, sorry, it makes me burp, August 20th this year, so just a few days ago. And on August 20th, I was like, oh, what is that? What the F is that? What is that vibration in my stomach? I could not explain the feeling in my chest. So I want to explain this to you, and this is going to go back to how I started this video. What I noticed was this. Certain activations that many of us have been doing has been working on a very, very high up halo, a galactic halo of sorts. And this galactic halo, this angelic halo, it's got many, many, many different names for many people, has been co-created by so many of us that, boom, this has basically solidified. How is it solidified? It's solidified in regards to, it would be solidified if the matter could be collected. It's the difference between regular light and liquid light, or regular light and plasma. So when this plasma came in, this new light is now furthering this ascension process within our bodies, furthering affecting the carbon in our bodies. What happens when carbon is put under pressure? When the carbon's put under pressure, it turns into a diamond. This is what my sister, Stephanie Ann Lodge, love you so much if you're watching, talks about as the diamond light, in my opinion, from the outside looking in. Many people have worked with different forms of light and seen what was taking place. That's from the pressure. That's from the pressure that many have been taught to to hate, to want to destroy. But at the end of the day, there has to be pressure coming from somewhere. Without pressure, how would we have become diamond light like we are? How would we have become crystalline to this extent, and where humanity still has left to go? So I see this. I see this brand new crown of sorts, this very, very, very high up chakra that maybe, from what I'm seeing and the messages that I'm getting, many, many of you have been like, hey, bro, what the heck is going on? What is this feeling? Here's what the feeling is, okay? Here's the great side of it. This crown, bam, materialized, pressed down, bam. Okay, so now all of this light is already activated. That is what piezoelectricity is. That's how your brother's tools work, using piezoelectricity on a crystal, through iron, creating basically a circuit board in a computer. So when this presses, when this crown is pressing down, this light activates. When that light activates, it has to have a home. It has to have a home. And no one gave you a memo. Nobody gave me a memo. Nobody got a memo that all of a sudden this was going to happen on this day. Okay? This same day, by the way, that many people have reported this whole 3 days of darkness, this blackout of the Schumann resonance going down. To me, it feels kind of valid. It feels valid. I know that certain space agencies are saying that there was just a problem with the equipment, and there was still a Schumann resonance. But either way, if that's the case, that's another layer of this. That means that there was a 3-day blackout that completed on the 22nd. There was a new moon at 11:11 on the 22nd. And a zodiac sign was in a different place on the 22nd, and so on and so forth. Everything else I already mentioned. So back to the crown and the pressure. And this is what I was saying is going to relate to what I was saying. This whole Regulus thing is something I dealt with. I would say that really started at my Saturn returns, even though I was born in it. I didn't notice it until about 27 and a half. And then it was like, boom, something activated up there. And I was like, what is that? It's something's really like, what is that? Get off of me, trying to crack my neck for like over a decade. And that pressure was necessary for me. And now I see that pressure is necessary for a lot of you that are watching this. If what I'm saying is take it with a grain of crystal, take it with a grain of salt, I'm letting you know what's happening in Alexander's world, just in case if it happens to be happening in your world. That feeling had nothing else that it could be except for something like dread. If basically it was like, boom, okay, here you go, Alexander, and I got all this, and I didn't know. I have no idea that I'm holding this, but it's like you could create whatever you want with that. What do you want to do with that? What have you always wanted to do? Like what are you going to do with that? But I don't know that I'm holding it. I have no idea that I'm holding it. So that, like, I got to use this. I got to use it. It's almost like this whole use it or lose it. And I don't think it can be lost. But the vibration is like, use this or lose this, or use this now, or you got to wait through another cycle and use it after another loop or something. Here's what I know. I felt the weight of that crown, saw it, asked many, many questions that were validated with mathematical anomalies, plain and simple, and got to the point of knowing this is what's taken place. This is what people are feeling. This is why they're feeling the way that they're feeling. But if there's anything I can do to assist everybody today, it's let them know that if there is a dreadful feeling, if it feels like something bad from the past is going on, maybe it's not, okay? Maybe it's not, and maybe that vibration is use your force, use your angelic light, use your who and what you are and what you came here to be and what you came here to do to live life, plain and simple. Enjoy life, like whatever it is that day. If you wake up and you want to write poetry, then write the poetry. If the next day it's this other thing, do the other thing. It's, and I know it's like for years and years and years, I sat here and I said, don't start this till that thing's doing that. Like what I mean by that is like, I was like, you know, if you're working a job, like you should work 2 jobs for a little while. And I'm not telling everybody to quit your job. I'm not saying that. I am telling you that even though this is how I've been eating, I need to change the way that I am eating. Okay? I'm changing my diet. I am absolutely positively disservicing somebody if they book a 30-minute session with me and I'm shuffling a deck of cards. I am the entire deck of cards and cards that are missing from the deck. I know that. It's like I could answer 1 or 2 questions in a 30-minute session, or I could answer 8 to 12 because I don't have to sit here and shuffle and cut and ask all the appropriate questions so I could tune in properly. I don't need them. I don't need them. So, yeah, I don't even know what Spotify just did to me. Actually, that's a pretty good song. It just sounds terrible right now in the background. You just, as quiet as it can be when people are doing construction outside, there are barking dogs and everything that's going on. But we're here. We got this going on. So, maybe I bring somebody on. Maybe this is what all this training has been, and someone else does the cards, and I just talk about all the other stuff, like all the galactic updates, everything I said today. I would be disservicing you if I didn't let you know what that feeling of dread was a week ago, 8 days ago, 9 days ago. If I just got on here and was like, let me get through these cards because it feels like it's killing me. It feels like it's killing me. I just, it's like the cat doesn't go back in the bag, and the cat's out of the bag. So, yeah, I don't know. Does somebody want to ask me some questions? Maybe I could do some questions. Maybe I can show you what I've been working on. It's going to be terrible sound quality, but how do I do this? I'm going to mute this. Actually, I'll wait a second. You guys let me know in the chat if you hear music. Okay. Sound is off. Okay, thank you. Let me try again. Should be able to hear me again now. All right, let me try this way.
Just know that it won't bring me down.
This works.
Put me on the front.
Now, can you hear music?
My world, my God, if you're gonna make it, then it's time that I speak my mind. You can't take that away. So are you gonna use me now? Well, your motherfucker, take this, take that, I can take it. But I might just lose my mind or my shirt anyway. And if it all came crashing down, just know that it won't bring me down. Put me me on the front lines as you're sitting on the sidelines. Don't think you can play with my mind, 'cause that's all mine. While you're slipping sideways, I've been making my way. Don't think I'll waste no more time, 'cause that's all mine. 'Cause you're a push-off. Go on, push off. Take this, fake that if you wanna make it. Now it's time that I speak my mind. You can't take that away. And if it all came crashing down, just know that it comes back around. Put me on the front lines as you're sitting on the sidelines. Don't think you can play with my mind, 'cause that's all mine. While you're slipping sideways, I've been making my way. Don't think I'll waste no more time, 'cause that's all mine. 'Cause you're a push-off. A little push-off. Go on, push-off. That's enough. Okay, so yeah, that happened. That happened yesterday. I'll be honest with you guys. I sat down. My dream since 5 years old has been to make comedy, and I sat down to write this like cooking skit I got going on in the walls of my mind, and I just started making music. I wasn't thinking; it just happened. That was made just yesterday. I'm sure the sound quality is very, very poor. Very, very poor. My version is not like that. And my version, per always, whenever I make new music, it's absolutely about to go get updated on the Galactic Tarot Patron. So, yeah, I'll drop that on Galactic Tarot for everybody because I saw people already asking for a download. So if you want it in its full quality, what's going on there to explain it to you, that's a choir of Lyrans. That is a choir of angelic and Arcturian and Assyrian. There are high-level pitches and low-level hums that are coming from different multidimensional versions of Alexander. And it is stimulating the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the heart chakra, and the crown chakra. If you listen for the different pitches and sounds that are taking place in the background. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of today or tomorrow morning. If I have sessions with people, I'm going to crush it. If you guys have session questions, this is good news. I don't need the cards anymore. This means you get more questions answered than you used to before. Okay. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do from here. I guess maybe I can do one more tarot training and just
hand over the first of the month to somebody. Yeah, I don't know. It took me years to build up this channel. And I know that doing what got me here is not what's going to get me to where we're all going and where I can service humanity the best. I love you all very much. My name is Alexander Mazzone. I will see you very, very soon. Very, very soon. Sooner than when I was doing these readings. Isn't that great news? Love you.